Other matters at the ICCTA meeting in Springfield, September 11th to 12th, Mr. Anderson, Kerrigan, Amanda, Helen, Barb Oslager all attended. Is anything that you'd like to report? Anyone?
I have something that Karen can probably make copies of and hand out to people who did not go to the sessions on Friday. They actually did one session that involved, and Trustee Olschlager was there too, that involved ethical decision-making by presidents and boards. And they had a bunch of scenarios with various things that could happen that you may have to deal with as a board. And you had to sit at a table with your group and figure out whether or not there was a conflict of interest, how the best way to handle it would be, whether or not the board or the president handled it appropriately. And it was a really good session in terms of some of the things that they threw out there, because we've seen some of them here as our own board. So there was a little handout in there, a guide to ethical decision-making by presidents and boards, that I'll give to Karen to copy. So those of you who weren't there can take a look at it. Other than that, I think we were pretty well attended at the events. I went to the diversity committee meeting because I'm the liaison for diversity committee, and they talked again about the problems that they're having getting people to colleges to apply for that award that we applied for last year. And I brought up something that I think we can involve our students in based on what Yesenia showed us at the last board meeting. Included in our diversity presentation, we've got this whole realm of disabled or hearing impaired or vision impaired or whatever. That's diversity too. And what the students are doing in the programs that we have that are dealing with those students and dealing with our veterans, that should be included in all of our diversity information when we're applying for these awards. And next month, when we're at ICCTA and you and I are on that panel for diversity, I think that information should be included too.
Yeah, at ICCTA.
That's a good point.
We'll make sure.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone else?
Barb looks like she's...
Barb can speak about the director's meeting.
Okay.
Well, comment on the session on the ethics for higher ed. I think the one thing that we walked away from that session is just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And I thought that was very telling. At the ICCTA meeting, we talked a lot about legislation, about pensions and president's contracts and lame duck sessions and audits and a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it's moving, some of it isn't moving. We also talked a little bit about the 50th anniversary for community colleges in the state of Illinois, and my understanding is information has already been sent to the College of Lake County as far as the logo for the 50th anniversary and some other PR stuff that we might want to use in our PR information as well. ICCTA is currently working on a strategic plan, and hopefully that'll be done within the next year or so. We had a rather in-depth roundtable discussion, which included 3 topics. The first topic was local control, which is always at the top of the list of our organization, just because what's going on legislatively, and it tends to be eating away at local control for some of the boards. And we also talked about trustee education. We too received the audit for the organization, and it was a clean audit. And then we also previewed the information for the upcoming ACCT Leadership Congress in San Diego.
To expound on that, or expand on that, the trustee education issue is one that was hotly debated, because what they want to do, not ICCTA, but what the legislature wants to do, is mandate education credit hours like you do with continuing legal education or continuing medical education or teacher in-service days. They want to mandate a set number of hours every so often, every period, for all trustees. And so there was a fairly heated discussion about how that should be looked at, who should run it, what would be offered, whether or not it would be beneficial. That was a pretty lengthy and big discussion while we were
And
there.
the irony of that is that ICCTA, these sessions that we go to, they are all educational sessions. And the irony to this is ICCTA would be one of the providers to do the trustee education, of which we're already doing.
They're already doing it.
Kind of.
Well, there has been suggestions for ICCTA to provide the education, and there's been some detractors that not want ICCTA to do the education.
I think the big problem that they're trying to get at is that there are trustees in many of the colleges who don't ever go to anything.
Yes.
They don't ever attend anything. Now, Elgin had every single trustee there, and they always have a pretty full contingent. We had 2 of us there on Friday, 3 more for Saturday, so we were well represented. But there are some who say that these trustees get elected and then that's it. They never see them at any event or function, so they're trying to figure out how to deal with that.
Is that on a bill?
Pardon?
Is that part on a bill yet?
I'm not sure. Is it on a bill
Yes,
yet, Barb?
it
It's on a
was on-
bill,
it
isn't it?
was on a bill, yes.
Yeah, it was on a bill.
Was it? Okay.
In fact, I think today the governor just signed one of the bills that we talked about, that
The severance package.
He did.
Severance.
on president's contracts.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No more than 4-year contracts for president, and no more than 1-year severance.
Severance and benefits. And I attended the Government Relations Committee meeting on Friday night, in which we went more in depth over these same topics, but also we went in depth over the budget, which apparently the governor and the legislative leaders haven't talked in over 2 months. And they're only thinking that the time the budget is going to finally shake off and do something will be once a critical mass is hit or the judiciary decides not to intervene on appropriations. So at this point, it's anyone's guess when we'll have a budget.
Thanks for that great news, Rich. Yesenia, you attended the ICCB SAC meeting? Did you
Yes.
want to report on anything on that?
No, I already discussed it in
Okay.
my report.
Okay, thank you. The Association of Community College Trustees Annual Community College Leadership Congress is coming up on October 14th and 17th in San Diego. We'll need, if someone's going to attend, we'll need to have, we're entitled to a vote at the Congress. And so if there's someone that would like to be the voting delegate that will plan to be there, please step forward and.
I'll nominate Barb.
I was going to say that I'm happy to let somebody else do it as the ACCT State Coordinator for Illinois. I have several other responsibilities going on at the Congress, so if somebody else would step up to the plate to do the actual voting, that would be helpful.
Okay, somebody else want to do
I
it?
did it once before when we needed coverage, but I don't know if it will conflict with the time that we're doing our presentation.
No, there'll be enough time. They have a window, don't they? Like 2 hours, something? Right, oh, it's only
No,
an hour?
it's two,
It's Thursday
Well-
morning,
well, it's
isn't
the
it?
caucus Thursday, I think it's like somewhere around 2 o'clock if I'm not mistaken, and then there's the Senate meeting on Friday as well.
I have a presentation on Friday, so I can't do it.
I'll tell you what,
Well, I'll need someone, and then I need an alternative as well.
yeah.
So, we'll check in if you want to do it, if it doesn't
If
conflict.
it doesn't conflict with our presentation, we'll do
Okay.
it.
Any other thoughts?
I am in the same question, if it doesn't conflict with the presentation. I think that's the same for everybody.
We'll get you the times. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as we find out the
Okay,
times,
well,
we'll send
I'm
it.
not
And
giving
we'll
a
compare them.
presentation,
Well,
so
the
everyone.
times have already been set for all of the presentations
Okay.
and for the Central Region Caucus and for the Senate, so we can check.
Yeah, we'll go
those.
check them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check them tomorrow. because-
All of you guys and ladies are in session, doing presentation. I'll do it then. I don't have a presentation.
All right,
Good.
good.
So,
Okay.
but
And just know that when you get there, you actually have to register to
sign
be
in.
the delegate and sign it.
Right,
They have to
that's
stamp your badge, otherwise you can't get in the room.
So can we check that out? Amanda would be the first choice, I think Rich would be second, or Judy. And if that's a conflict, any of those three, then
And-
I'll do it.
Okay.
And also know that we are supporting Bill Kelly, who is from the Central Region, from Harper for the National Board. At this point, he's the only person from the Central Region. That doesn't negate somebody from being, nominated from the floor, but at this point, the Central Region, which are the 5 states, have already committed to supporting.
Okay. All right, good.